yamunatiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajak Acharya Stotra Shatri Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol सर्वशास्त्रविधिपीयूषा सर्वविदैकसत्फला सर्वसिद्धान्तरात्नाद्या सर्वलोकैकदृक्प्रदा सर्वभागवतप्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कालीध्वंतोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानन्दपाताय प्रेमवर्षक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोऽस्तु मे अदेकबन्धो मत्सङ्गीन् मद्गुरो मन्महादन मनिष्टारकमद्भाग्या मदनन्द नमोऽस्तु ते असाधु साधुतादायीन् अतिनीचोचतकरहनमुञ्च कदाचिन्मं प्रेम्ण हृत्कण्ठयोस्फुरा ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 18, entitled Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy, text 23. Aham hi pṛṣṭo ryamaṇo bhavadbhir aham hi pṛṣṭo ryamaṇo bhavadbhir ācakṣa ātma-avagamo yāvān ācakṣa ātma-avagamo yāvān nabhaḥ patanty ātma-samam patattriṇas nabhaḥ patanty ātma-samam patattriṇas tathā samam viṣṇu-gatim vipaścitaḥ tathā samam viṣṇu-gatim vipaścitaḥ aham hi pṛṣṭo ryamaṇo bhavadbhir ācakṣa ātma-avagamo yāvān nabhaḥ patanty ātma-samam patattriṇas tathā samam viṣṇu-gatim vipaścitaḥ. Please chant. Aham hi pṛṣṭo ryamaṇo bhavadbhir ācakṣa ātma-avagamo yāvān patattriṇas. Ladies? Aham hi pṛṣṭo ryamaṇo bhavadbhir ācakṣa ātma-avagamo yāvān nabhaḥ patanty ātma-samam patattriṇas tathā samam viṣṇu-gatim vipaścitaḥ. Aham, my humble self, he, certainly, pṛṣṭaḥ, asked by you, aryamaṇaḥ, as powerful as the sun, bhavadbhiḥ, by you, ācakṣe, may describe, ātma-avagamaḥ, as far as my knowledge is concerned, atra, herein, yāvān, so far, nabhaḥ, sky, patanty, fly, ātma-samam, as far as it can, patattriṇaḥ, the birds, tathā, thus, samam, similarly, viṣṇu-gatim, knowledge of Vishnu, vipaścitaḥ, even though learned, learned. Translation: O ṛṣis, who are as powerfully pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu, as far as my knowledge is concerned. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. Purport: the supreme absolute truth is unlimited. No living being can know about the unlimited by his limited capacity. The Lord is impersonal, personal, and localized. By his impersonal feature, he is all-pervading Brahman. By his localized feature, he is present in everyone's heart as the Supreme Soul. And by his ultimate personal feature, he is the object of transcendental loving service by his fortunate associates, the pure devotees. The pastimes of the Lord in different features can only be estimated partly by the great learned devotees. So, Srila Sutta Goswami has rightly taken this position in describing the pastimes of the Lord as far as he has realized. Factually, only the Lord himself can ascribe himself, and his learned devotee also can describe him as far as the Lord gives him the power of description. Om ajnana-timirandasya jnananjala-shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo viṣṇu-padaya Krishna-pṛṣṭaḥ bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vikāsa Swamit Namine. Namo viṣṇu-padaya Krishna-pṛṣṭaḥ bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swamit Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paśćatya-deshatarine. Vancha kalvatrubhyascha kripa sindhuveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the sages of Naimisharanya asked Sutta Goswami to describe more about Parikshit Maharaj, about his renunciation. Why did he give up his kingdom? And why did he give up his kingdom? They wanted to know more about this. And before Sutta Goswami starts replying about the matter, he this is the last verse of the short section, where Sutta Goswami is explaining about himself, how much he can describe the activities of the Lord and his devotees. Here he says, my capacity is limited. Why is he speaking about this at all? Why is he speaking about this? Actually, the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they praise Sutta Goswami as a great devotee. So, Sutta Goswami, as a great devotee, felt the need to explain his position. For instance, in the verse 15, the sages say, O Sutta Goswami, you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. You are learned and pure devotee of the Lord. Before that, actually many verses where they are glorifying Sutta Goswami. 4th chapter, for instance. They say, we know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects except some portions of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you. So they praise him, and Sutta Goswami feels the need to say, actually, he doesn't say I'm not great, but he says, in the verse, I think 18, just starts this section, says, I'm just a sutta. I mean, oh God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself all disqualification resulting from lower births. So he's saying, I'm a sutta, I'm not a Brahmin even. Sutta means it's a mixed class. His mother is kshatriya, of a kshatriya class, and father from a Brahmin class. So suttas are neither kshatriyas nor brahmanas. They cannot, as kshatriyas, they cannot wear arms and fight. They're not Brahmins, they cannot study the Vedas. But what they can do is they are chariot drivers and reciters of Puranas and Itihasas. That's allowed, because that's not considered strictly the Vedas, Shruti. So, but the sages, they nevertheless, they don't consider that at all. It's not in their mind. They're super enthusiastic to hear from him, because they say so many things. That famous verse from I think also the 4th chapter. No, this is the beginning. Vayam tuna vitripyama utama shloka vikrame yat shrinvatam rasa jnanam svadu svadu pade pade. They are experiencing bliss at every word, every step. And just keep on going, just speak. If we see on the other side, The sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi. Who is Shaunaka? Shaunaka is not just someone. He is he was famous for performance of sacrifices. That's why they gathered at Naimisharanya for 1,000-year sacrifice to counteract the ill effects of Kali Yuga. So he was known as a very good at performing sacrifices. He himself had a big Mahashala, sacrificial arena, where he performed sacrifices. He was a grihastha, and that's what he did. And he's also a great scholar. He is the author of Rig Veda, Pratishakya, and other Vedic texts. He is, is really someone who has all the. It doesn't have just devotion. Also, like in a more usual sense, he's born in a high. He has a high birth. He's knowledgeable, very respected occupation, but still, he and the sages, they put themselves under this Sutta Goswami, whose birth was not high at all. That we are saying in the this is a previous age. So even the births which are not as high as the highest, they're very high, especially compared to us who are born in Kali Yuga. So this is all relative, right? When we are speaking like that, high, low, all very high. But so the Shaunaka Rishi, he says just Tvam na sandarshito atra dushtaram nistitirshitam kalim sattva haram pumsam karnadhara ivarnavam. Another very well-known verse says that we think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as a captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of human being. So they accept him as their spiritual master. Prabhupada says in one of the purports in this chapter that this shows that 5,000 years ago the social system in Bharatvarsha wasn't so rigid. They did consider the class of a person according to the qualities, not according to birth only. So the sages came there to perform sacrifices, and they participated in the hearing of the Bhagavatam. And in the verse 12 here in this chapter, they say that we have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity of a sacrificial fire without certainty of its result due to many imperfections in our action. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. So the sages are a little humorous. They say we are becoming black from this sacrifice, from the smoke. Sometimes we experience that also. We have some yagya in some anyway, after some maybe initiation yagya or something, marriage, and then the fire goes really well, ventilation is not much, and we become black from the smoke. So they consider their yagyas uncertain of the they are not certain of the result. Certain is that they become black from the smoke. But this hearing of the Bhagavatam, that's a whole different thing. We have become pleased by that. We are. This is going well. Therefore, they say that tulayama lavena api na swargam na punarbhavam. Even a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter, what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. So, such is the praise that Sutta Goswami is receiving. But he says, no, we can compare that to his father, Romaharshana Sutta. He was a speaker of the Puranas also in Naimisharanya. But when Lord Balaram came, he didn't get up from his seat he was speaking. He was supposed to do that. Although he was given the first place there, he was the best person there, therefore he was speaking, but he didn't acknowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead came. So Balaram decided to do a quick action, so he killed him. It's extreme, but he felt he has to do it because he's there to establish dharma. And the sages were upset with him, so they asked him, he expressed, I had to do it, but okay, I'm sorry also, so what to do? So they gave him, he said that, but okay, I cannot undo my killing because he had to be killed. But I will transfer the blessings you have given to Romaharshana Sutta, or long life, that his senses will be strong, and that, what else it was? So, and all this, I transferred to the son, Sutta, because, Sutta Goswami, because it said that the son is actually, the Atma, the person again rises as the sun. It's the same. Atma-vai putra utpanna. It said that one's own self takes birth again as one's son. So he gave him long life, strong senses, and stamina, just transferred their blessings. So now Sutta Goswami is here in this place, instructing the sages of Naimisharanya, speaking the Bhagavatam. And so how he responded to the praise? He was just pointing out to his low birth, and that he acknowledged that, he said that I could be elevated because of association with great sages. Great sages means you. Like he attributed that. And of course he was a disciple of Shravanaka Rishi. You can say he heard the Bhagavatam from him, and he repeated the Bhagavatam. He was also a disciple of Vyasadeva. And Romaharshana Sutta taught him the Puranas before his demise. And So he didn't say, I'm so great or anything like that. He more than passed the test. We usually like to hear our praise. Or there's years ago, when I was studying at Govardhan with Gopi Pranana Prabhu, so we had one class, was spoken Sanskrit, and it wasn't attended much because devotee students, they had much to do with Vyakarana, with grammar, which is very difficult. So, and then this spoken Sanskrit wasn't much. Anyway, it's kind of easy, so you think, anyway, I don't need it right now, because with whom you can speak. So, but the sutras and the proper forms of the words you had to know. So the teacher of the spoken Sanskrit wasn't much happy because he didn't have much attendance, and he's not like an ISKCON devotee. He's just the Brahmin, doctor of Sanskrit, pracharak, Sanskrit pracharak. He spoke Sanskrit in his earlier days for he had vrata some 4 or 5 years. He just spoke Sanskrit. In India, you can get by because people, if you live in the Hindi speaking area, people will understand if you show a little bit also, because the words many are just the same. And so he really felt that, everybody should speak Sanskrit, and what is this? So he said to me in Sanskrit, he said, the atra here, mama mahimanam kopina janati. Nobody here knows my mahima, my glories. And so what to say when you hear something like that? Trinada Pisunichana. Maybe it doesn't work immediately. So I said to him, yes, I can understand you. Mama mahimanam apikopina janati. Also, my glories nobody understands here. So then he understood that I'm joking. So we started, laughing, because it's an absurd proposal, and nobody understands my glories. When you speak it out, we may think like that. Usually then we don't speak like that because we know it's inappropriate, but sometimes it comes out, and we are faced with, our mind. So, yeah, materialistic people, or those of us who are still affected by material conceptions, Sutta Goswami is not puffed up at all. He doesn't say yes, thank you very much, or just quietly acknowledges. No, he will say, he will acknowledge. He knows where the mercy came from. It came from the association with great devotees. So in today's verse, he's saying, I will speak, but as much as I can. He already expressed that earlier. He said, Yatha adhitam, yatha matihi. As much as I have learned, and as much as I have realized, that much I can give to you. And that's there, especially in spiritual life. How much you can speak a lot from the Shastra, and we should speak from the Shastra, but it will have the effect as much as the realization is there of the speaker. So Hare Krishna. Like that. So this sages of Naimisharanya, they particularly asked Sutta Goswami about Parikshit Maharaj and his story, his great deeds, how it happened so that he became the hero of the Bhagavatam. So this already starts in chapter 12. They're speaking, it's about his birth. And then in chapter 16, 17, it's about how he received the age of Kali. And now particularly he'll speak about, to begin to speak about Parikshit, how it happened so that he renounced everything and just listened to the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam itself is the proof that, or this exchange between the sages of Naimisharanya and Sutta Goswami is the proof of how Bhagavatam, hearing of the Bhagavatam lifts the asadhus to sadhus. That's the verses we recited in the beginning. Asadhu sadhu tadayin. You make the unholy holy. And atini chochatakara. Those who are very low, you make them high. So, in the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was preaching to Sanatana Goswami also felt very low class. He spoke like that. But Mahaprabhu finally said, Jai Bhaja Shai Boro. He who worships the Lord well, we can say, he's big. No external birth and so on, they don't matter. And it proves, everything proves that just by going through the process of bhakti yoga, that it works. It does work. Nitya siddha Krishna prema sadhya kobunoi shravanadi shuddha chitte kore udoi. So that this hearing of the Bhagavatam, chanting Hare Krishna and so on, shravanadi, they will unearth the long sleeping prema in the heart. That's the constitutional position of the soul. So it will, and what it means that along with prema comes good qualities of the person. So we can see Sutta Goswami and sages how in what an elevated language they speak, and you can feel their heart. They're not just saying it. They really feel, both of the parties feel very humble, and and they participate in this service to the Lord. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvatra, was it? Yes. So all the good qualities of the demigods, they appear in a person of a devotee, one who is a devotee of the Lord. So that is very much felt here, how Sutta Goswami is so elevated. The sages of Naimisharana are not flattering him. They are just speaking the plain truth, what they see. It's a matter of reality. It's not we add something so that it hears better, and maybe we get some points from someone we flatter to. Krishna consciousness is so, it's just, what to say. There's nothing like it, that all our endeavors should be focused in Krishna consciousness, Shravan Kirtan, that's the real life. Everything else is transient, will go away. But this gives real pleasure, and just fulfills the aim of one's life. So with that, I'll finish what I speak, my class, and I'll ask for questions and comments.
Excuse me if it's a trivial question. I seem to forgot the answer for this question. If Krishna is the Lord of Maya, she's his servant, why she attacks the devotee? Why she doesn't let the devotees just practice nicely Krishna consciousness? Like smooth practice. Why she attacks the devotee then?
Well, the simple answer is that we have a free will, and we will have to desire to really want to not be in Maya. That's what it is. It's the free will, and Krishna says that He does free a devotee who. What's the verse from the Gita? Devi hesha gunamaya mama maya duratyaya. Then? Mameva ye prapandyantem tamstataiva. No. Yes, this one. So, what to say? Anyway, Maya is always there. It's always an option. We are free. We are free to choose. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Person is just like weak, it's just better to that Krishna should protect. I feel like maybe devotees should be more protected. Like we should be more protected, not attacked by Maya. That it should be not even temptations in some way.
Yeah, that's what we feel. We maybe think that as soon as we take Japamala, put the tilak on, now Krishna will protect me. Yeah. He does protect us, but not in the ways we impose them on Krishna. Why? We think we are smart, and but you're supposed to do like this, but you are not. Krishna, we have to have some faith that Krishna knows what He's doing, and that also we should be a little bit doubtful about our good intentions and our pure hearts and how nothing bad should happen to us. Nothing bad should happen to the Pandavas. Why it happened? They're completely surrendered. Did they blame the Lord? No. But they're Pandavas. They're great devotees. So yes, but beyond the way to perfection, it's understood that in the beginning stages we'll have doubts, and but we should have this, an faith that what I'm doing is that we should just go on with the practice, see with senior devotees, someone we can, accept that they know a little bit more than I do. What do I do wrong? Maybe, please give me some suggestion, because others can see much more than we do. It's like that. We see others, the faults of others. Somehow or other, we don't see our faults. So, if we are eager to know what we are doing wrong, we should ask maybe somebody else, somebody who's close to us. The process works. That's the point. It's some lose faith because something bad happens to devotees. Just now we heard some devotees engaged in devotional service in Ukraine, right? They're distributing prasadam. Died. Krishna has a plan. Krishna has a plan. We should have this faith. We should not like point at Krishna, what you're doing. He knows what he's doing. Maybe he needs them somewhere else. And there's so many purposes that Krishna fulfills with one action. And it's not, who knows? We cannot know. We should be a little bit trusting. Yeah. Krishna knows what he's doing. Yes, bro.
Bro, you gave example, one incident regarding your personal this thing that. So, regarding that, there is question that what is the remedy for this disease that no one understands my greatness? Like, what is the remedy for this disease?
It's maybe one remedy is analysis, introspection. Okay, now try to be very objective and analyze yourself. And it's anyone or myself. So, what do I consider that's so great about me? Okay. And we may go through a few things. So, does anybody else has these things? Is anyone who is better at this? Yes. Okay. And who is giving all this? Am I the cause of my greatness, of my great qualities? Krishna says, Paurusham Nrishu, I am the ability in man. Krishna gives. So, by the end of the analysis, you may be a little bit humbled. Maybe I'm not that great. Maybe if there's anything great, that's the mercy of Krishna or my spiritual master. And all the faults are mine. So, the mentality may change. So, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Considering that we're not the body and people are Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas by qualification, by qualities rather than birth, isn't there a lot of emphasis on birth? Like the Sutta Goswami it was really pertinent that his mother is a Kshatriya, his father was a Brahmin.
Actually, he was a descendant of Sutas, so that just continues. That's how it starts, the mixed class.
So how important is birth, actually?
It's quite important. It's quite important, but it's not the ultimately important. It's not what it is. It's not of ultimate importance. I read this Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote something about this Daivi Varnashrama. How this is supposed to be implemented in regards to classes, determination of who's who. And so I try to remember well what he wrote. Basically he said it should be determined, if you have a village, by the village elders. When a boy grows up, he's 15, 16, something like that, when the qualities are shown already, you know. So and if they determine that the person is different from the class, is different from what is he born in, so they give him a few years to correct, to come up. So you can see it's by default it's your birth. So by default, you know, but not by the default, it is. But then yada nyatrapi drishyeta tattanaiva vinirdishyat. But if it's different from the acquired, I mean the caste which is you're born in, then it's the other one. So the Varnashrama system in India, they stopped considering that. Prabhupada says 5,000 years ago that still was there. But with time, they stopped doing that. So if you're born as a Brahmin, you're Brahmin. Whatever you do, they're meat-eating Brahmanas also. But it's kind of a, you know, it's like saying it's a meat-eating vegetarian. You know. But designation is still there. It doesn't mean anything. So birth is important and it's not important. That's right. I mean, we may emphasize one thing, or we more emphasize that birth is not important. But actually we have to be situated somewhere. When we are born, we don't just go in the vacuum. We are somewhere for some time, at least, until it's decided otherwise. Of course, none of these things work really nowadays. We are speaking about concepts. We're speaking about implementing the Varnashrama. We have something, but it's not really the full picture. That's true.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So Sutta Goswami is saying that I will speak as far as my realization goes, and he's being humble in saying that, and of course he could speak very eloquently in the whole Bhagavatam. And we are also supposed to speak the philosophy as it is as far our realization goes, like when we give Bhagavatam class. What causes one to speculate or like deviate from the philosophy as it is, and like what is the remedy for this?
What causes
one to speculate or like deviate or introduce something new which is not in line with the Shastra, like this?
Well, I don't know how to express it. What causes that? This is it's a complicated mind, thinking that we know more than the predecessor acharyas. Basically, it may not be always. Sometimes we may have good intentions in coming up with something, because we perceive a problem. We do not know what is the remedy for it within the scope of what we know. So we may introduce something, thinking that this is fine. But we should really check with Shastra, with the previous acharyas. Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes it's not black and white. It's not that somebody is introducing something which is black, and this is white, we know it's right. No, it can be shades of gray. So it requires devotees who understand things very clearly, that they detect, oh, this is not according to Shastra, that's why, this is the reason, this, this. And they give reasons. And then when we hear from them, we say, oh, actually this makes sense. This is really a deviation. So what causes that? Well, different things. But sometimes, different things. Sometimes it may be that we just find ourselves in a situation where there are so many things that we don't like, that we try to find, we know, okay, we should speak according to Shastra, so we'll find something, some bit of verse, something, some example, Prabhupada did this, so I can do it also. This, and then we introduce something. So that may be there also. Sometimes we may not even understand it ourselves, what's going on, because the mind's very tricky. So we may kind of think that we are doing the right thing, but advanced devotees will see, no, this is not going anywhere right. So a few thoughts on this. I feel it's a difficult question. Yeah. Thank you. Hare Krishna. It's 9 o'clock, so we will finish here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.